Astrology isn't just about signs and symbols. It's a tool for navigating real life. Hello, and welcome to Astrology with Elisa. I'm your host, Elisa Dixon, and I'm so glad you're here. Let's dive in. Oh my gosh, you guys, I had a full circle moment last week. Like one of those moments where everything just clicks. Things I had been struggling with, wrestling with for months relative to this podcast just all came together in this moment of clarity. It was awesome. And then when I realized the timing, I was like, oh my gosh, I just wrapped up a major cycle in the last few hours of the moon in Pisces. This is big. And I know what you might be thinking. Big deal. The moon is in Pisces every month. But this wasn't just any Pisces moon. This was the last Pisces moon right before the new moon in Aries. And that is significant. So, quick grounding here. A new moon is when the sun and the moon come together. And it's a time to plant seeds, set intentions, start something new. And throughout the year, we get new moons every month. As the sun travels through the zodiac, the moon zips around and meets the sun in every sign. So, in Aquarius season, there's an Aquarius new moon. In Pisces season, there's a Pisces new moon, and so on. So naturally, in Aries season, there's an Aries new moon. But this one feels different because Aries is the very beginning of the zodiac. So this new moon in Aries is kind of like a reset point, a fresh start to kick off the new year, meaning the zodiac new year, which begins in Aries season. Now, there are a few different New Year moments we talk about. There's the Lunar New Year, which I talked about with Graham Breitenstein when he came on the podcast back in February. There's also the moment the sun moves into Aries, which a lot of astrologers consider the astrological new year. But this Aries new moon is one that people really lean into. And one of the ways people do that is through something called a treasure map. Now, when I first heard that years ago in astrology school, I was like, treasure map? What are we, pirates? And my teacher, she used to host an event every year. She still does, actually, both in person and online, where people gather together as a group and create vision boards, aka your treasure map, of what you want to manifest, what you want to use the energy to harness, what you want to attract that year. And people would bring poster board, magazines, glue, and scissors to cut things out and glue to the board. Or it could be done digitally via Canva or PowerPoint and getting images off the internet. You get the idea. But the magic of it was doing it together in a group under the new moon in Aries energy. And I never went to these treasure map nights. Not because I didn't believe in it, but life was busy. My kids were little, and I just couldn't justify another night out away from the family. So I had never actually done a treasure map. But this year, over the weekend, I finally did one. And not only did I do one, I did it with my family. We were all sitting around the kitchen table, laptops open, everyone making their own. My daughter, hers was all about fun. Things she loves doing, things she wants more of this year. My son, he had sports goals, things he wanted to achieve. Kevin, AI lover that he is, used Claude to basically build his whole thing based on what he's currently working on. And then he added to it. And me, I used Canva. I added things for my astrology practice, the podcast, travel, music. I even added a bowl of colorful fruits and veggies because I'm manifesting better eating habits. And I put a picture of kids in a pool because I just want my kids to have a really fun summer. And that's the thing. There's no one right way to do this. It's just about intention. And after all these years of knowing about it, I was finally ready. And it was actually really fun, and it felt really special. I'm going to print them and keep them visible. Except for Kevin's. His is so high-techy, I wouldn't even know how to print his. He has an Aquarius moon. Need I say more? But I'm printing mine and the kids. So if you're listening and thinking, oh, bummer, I missed it, you didn't. You can do this anytime between now and the full moon on May 1st. So if it calls to you, do it. And if it doesn't, that's okay too, because the energy is still moving either way. And this brings me back to that full circle moment. That cycle that wrapped up for me last week started at the Aries New Moon last year, which happened to be an eclipse and also my birthday. So even though I didn't do a treasure map, this one was pretty personal to me. It was when I launched this podcast. And this whole year has been me figuring it out. Truly, when I launched, I didn't know exactly how I was going to do it. If I would bring on guests, if I would talk about transits, if I would do monthly forecasts, if I would do video on YouTube, if I would teach more. The only thing I knew for sure was that I would show up every Wednesday, which is Mercury's day, by the way, Mercury the messenger. That just felt right. And over the year, I've tried a little bit of everything. Solo episodes, guest conversations, YouTube, Astro Bestie chats, making clips for social media, pulling back, leaning in, figuring out what I love, what I have the capacity for, and what resonates with you. And in those final hours of the Pisces moon last week, as that whole cycle closed, it all clicked. How I want to do this now, what this gets to look like, how I can actually do all the things I love and grow in a way that works. And I was so happy in the moment that I had found the right tools that just felt right for me. And then when I realized that my clarity came right at the end of that cycle that began last year on March 29th, it was just like this sigh of, oh yes, thank you, universe. We did this together. I mean, how cool is that? So I'm curious, did anything like that happen for any of you? Something fall into place? Something finally make sense? Because this energy, it's not just mine. So now we're here, still in the Aries New Moon energy for this upcoming year. Fresh start, new cycle, new zodiac year. If it feels right, go play with it. Be a pirate. Make a treasure map. Because you deserve to create a year that feels good to you. And even if you don't make the map, just setting the intention, that's powerful too. All right, you guys, one thing I'm definitely continuing is bringing on guests and having great conversations. I've really been loving that. Speaking of which, if you didn't catch last week's episode with my mom, go check it out. She teaches stress management, and she had lots of great tips to share. And it's actually perfect timing because we've got some big energy right now. Uranus is at the last degree of Taurus, just days away from moving into Gemini. And that can feel a little taxing on the nervous system. So go listen to that one. I'll put the link in the show notes. And just one more thing I want to mention. I have been creating a lot of solar return cards lately. Your birthday cards. I've gotten so many orders the past few weeks, a lot of you ordering them for yourselves, which I love because there's nothing better than understanding your own energy. And I've honestly really loved making these, sitting with your chart and feeling into your year ahead. So if you're interested, you can order through my website or my Etsy store. I'll leave links to both in the show notes. As always, I love and appreciate you all. Thanks again for listening. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Hey, Astro friends, if you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend, follow the show, or leave a review. Let's keep growing this beautiful little community together.